Okay, it's good to see that people are connected and are still connecting. So let's make sure that we revise through these important questions. I just want us to answer these questions that are falling under a topic called periodic table. So periodic table is one of the major topics that don't miss in an exam. You are going to find one or two questions come from there. So this is a topic that you must not leave behind. This is one of the important topics. And whenever we are talking about the periodic table, you need to understand that you need to describe trends in various groups given information about the elements. You need to know what an element is. So if I ask you a question, what is the periodic table? You need to be able to give me the definition of a periodic table. What are groups and what are periods on the periodic table? You need to know all that. What are certain trends that we get to find on the periodic table? You need to be able to tell me all those things. So now these are just simple questions that I just want us to revise through. So I want us to revise through this. We see how we can answer these particular questions together. So I'm giving you time so that you can copy down the questions that are here. I'm giving you time and chance for you to copy down the questions that are just here. These are some of the questions that I want you to write, even as we get to discuss them. You have written them down. So we are going to be answering them together. As we know, school at 5, we get to revise questions together. So these are some of the questions. So the first question that is here is saying, so we'll be answering them together. The first question is saying, which elements are metals and non-metals? This is a question. Which elements are metals and non-metals? How can you know that this element is a metal, this element is a non-metal? So all these elements that are given are either metals or non-metals. So I want us to answer these together. Make sure that you copy down these questions. Make sure that you write them in your book, even as we revise through them. Hope those of you under my lessons, hope you've got a separate part or a separate paper or book where you get to write down these questions that we get to revise together. So I just want us to answer these questions together. We see how we are going to go about everything. So I need your total participation. I want each and every person to be participating. So in these questions, I want people to be participating. We are going to answer these questions together. I'm going to be getting answers from you people. So even as we start, make sure you like the video. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to comment. Even as you get to join, you put a comment there. Okay, so the first question is telling us that which elements are metals and non-metals. Before we answer this particular question, we need to understand what is an element, what is a metal, and what is a non-metal. This is the first thing that should come to our mind. So an element is just a substance that is made up of one type of material that cannot be broken down either by chemical means or physical means. So whenever we are talking about an element, we are just talking about a substance that is made up of one type of material which cannot be broken down either by chemical means or physical means. It cannot be broken down. When you use chemical means or physical means, it cannot be broken down. And whenever we are talking about metals, these are elements which are found on the periodic table that become stable by losing electrons. So each metal will lose electrons for it to be stable. So for a metal to be stable, it must lose electrons. This is what you need to know. And non-metals, for them to be stable, they need to gain electrons. This is what you need to know. So we start. How can we know? Is this a metal? Is this a non-metal? How can we know this? We'll start with the first one. So we are going to start with the first one. So It's good to see people. Amforo, good morning. I'm following you from Copper Belt, all the way from Copper Belt. This is so good. Good morning, sir. Connected from Mungu. It's good to hear that people are connected from Copper Belt, from Western Province, Mungu. Thank you, Mungu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I just want us to answer these questions together. So if you are connected from Kabwe, make sure you pass through my tuition center. If you stay just near High Ridge Bankers Nest, Munkoyo Street. Okay. So that's where I get to conduct my physical tuitions from, just Kabwe Central Province. So the first question. Okay, Parusaka. It's good to hear that Parusaka and Pami. So I usually visit Lusaka most of the time. So we are now on the first question. Which element? We are on element A. Is this a metal or a non-metal? So I want to get answers now. Let's start revising through these questions. Is this a metal or a non-metal? Is this a metal or a non-metal? Element A. I want to see options. Is this a metal or a non-metal? Okay. Shiwa. So I think this person is connected from Shiwa Ngungu. Shiwangangu. Okay. So I want to see answers now. I want to see answers. A is a non-metal. Okay. What are your views? I want each and every person to give his or her own views. Non-metal. So I'm saying non-metal. Okay. A non-metal. A is a non-metal. Okay. A is a non-metal. This is so good. A is a metal. I've seen a different answer now. So this is where a contradiction now has started from. A lot of you have said metals, and I've seen one answer here saying it is a metal. So now I've told you that this is the first thing that non-metal. So they say majority wins, but we are going to explain this. So the first one that is here, we are given these elements. So element A, what is element A? So element A, for us to answer this, element A, we are just on this one. So this one is a non-metal. Have you seen? So we are given these ones. This is what we are given. These are the electrons in the outermost shell of the elements. So these are electrons in the outermost shell. I've just picked the outermost shell. So A, have you seen? We know that on the periodic table, elements that have got proton number less than that have got atomic number, let me say, that are in group what? That are in group 1, 2, 3. Those ones are likely to be what? Metals. So group 1, group 2, group 3, those are metals. So which is to tell you that if I say that, so just by giving this, I'm going to, all metals with more than 4 electrons in the outermost shell is non-metal. Have you seen? I like this one. So all the elements here with more than 4 electrons in the outermost shell are what? Are non-metals. Okay, I like that one. You said metals lose electrons and non-metals gain. So meaning this one is going to gain. It cannot lose these electrons. It is going to gain. In other words, let us answer these all things together. We answer all the questions together. So with this, we said that all the elements with more than 4 electrons in the outermost shell are referred to as non-metals. And those with less than 4 electrons in the outermost shell are referred to as metals. So this one is a non-metal. This one is a what? Is a non-metal. This is a non-metal. So I'm going to do this. This is a non-metal. We move to B. B is what? B is having 8. So how about B? Is it a metal or a non-metal? We move to B. B, is it a metal or a non-metal? B. So this one, I think you can even see this. This one is having 8 electrons. And tell me, where do we get to find this type of an element? Where do we get to find it? So definitely we've established an understanding to say that those with more than 4 electrons in the outermost shell are referred to as nonmetals. So this one is a nonmetal. Where do we get to find this? We know that this one is a nonmetal. Where do we find it? A noble gas. I like that. This one is a noble gas. Because why? Why do we call it a noble gas? Or why do we call them noble gases? Why do we call them noble gases? What's the whole essence of calling them noble gases? Why do we call them noble gases? Because, have you seen, why do we call them noble gases? I want us to be interacting. We are revising through this together. Why do we call them noble gases? Why? Why do we call them noble gases? So this may take time. Let me just say it out. Okay. Is this an answer? Maybe because it is stable. Yeah. So the reason why we call them noble gases, because they are what? They are stable. They are already stable. They don't need to react with any other element. They don't need to lose, because they can neither lose nor gain. They are stable. I like this. So obviously chemistry is a simple subject. Chemistry is a simple subject that we should not fail in an exam. Are noble gases because they are stable. They can neither lose nor gain. I think this is how she meant. Okay, so this is what you are supposed to get. This is a noble gas. This is a noble gas. We go to C. Is this a metal or a non-metal? C, because the outermost shell are full. That's the reason why we call them noble gases. The outermost shell are what? Are full. Okay. C. So I just want you to tell me metal or a non-metal. We are on C. Metal or a non-metal. Just type metal or non-metal. C. C. Metal or non-metal. C. A metal. C is a metal. How about others? C is a metal. C is a metal. So this one is a what? This one is a metal. Okay. C is a metal. D. How about D? How about D? D. C is a metal. Metal. So these ones are simple. D, we are on D. D is a what? D is a metal. Metal. So we've established an understanding. These are what? These are metals. E. What about E? How about E? E, is it a metal or a non-metal? Okay, we go to E. E. Even as we answer E, I want someone to explain a bit what they mean. So E. E, is it a metal or a non-metal? So someone to explain a bit on E. Why is it a non-metal? So people have said this is a non-metal. I'm getting these answers from you, and I like your participation. People are following. So that one, E is a non-metal. Why? I want someone to explain why is it a metal? Why is it a metal? Why? Why do we call it a metal? Why do we call it a metal? Why? So the reason why this one is a metal, one is that it gains for it to be stable. Have you seen? It is having 5 electrons. So for this to be stable, it needs how many electrons? How many electrons does it need? How many electrons does this need? It gains all elements having more than 4 electrons. Outermost shell are non-metals. E is a non-metal. Okay, because Mr. Harrison watching you from Copper. Good morning, Mr. Harrison watching from Copper Belt. Oh, that's good. E is a non-metal. E is a non-metal. So we established an understanding to say that those elements with the outermost shell electrons more than what? More than 4 are referred to as this one needs 4. This one, I'm talking about this one. For this one to be stable, it needs how many electrons? It needs 3 electrons. Have you seen? So if I was told to write ions for this, have you seen? If I was told to write ions, let me say I'm told to write ions from this. How can I write ions from this? You know that an ion is a charged particle or a group of charged particles. So I'm giving you answers now. These are questions, but I'm not only teaching you how to answer these, but we are also devising through. If questions are to come in a different way, you are going to answer them. So this is how I get to do them. I don't only teach answers, but I'm going to teach you how to answer a different question if it was to come in an exam. Have you seen? So if these ones are to form ions, what charge will this one have? Okay, so this one is going to have which charge? So let's say we don't know this, the way it is A. Which charge is it going to have? Positive 6, negative 10, this is what I mean. So what charge is A going to have? What charge? The charge for A. What charge? When it forms an ion, what charge is it going to have? So charge, what I mean, you tell me positive 4, positive 20, like that. This is what I mean. So what charge is this going to have? Negative, yeah. Negative what? So you specify negative 2 or negative 6, like that. We specify. So negative 2. So this one forms 2 minus. Have you seen? It forms 2 minus because it needs 2 electrons for it to be stable. This one, we said that it is a noble gas. Okay, so people are participating. Negative 2, yes. This one gets to form negative 2. We move to this one. This one is a noble gas. This one doesn't lose or gain electrons. We move to this one. What will be the charge for this? What will be the charge for C? What will be the charge for C? So tell me the charge for C. The charge. What will be the charge? What will be the charge? Is it negative or positive? And you tell me the number. Positive 4 or negative 4. You like that, in that angle. So this one. What charge will this one get when it forms an ion? So when it forms an ion, what is the charge of this when it forms an ion? 3 plus. This is so good. So it is what? 3 plus. Why is it forming a plus? Because when it forms an ion, this one, it is forming a 3 plus. Because this is a metal, and metals lose electrons for them to be stable. When they lose electrons, they become what? Positively charged. So this one is losing all these 3. So it is becoming what? It is becoming 3 plus. 5 plus. No. So what I mean is that when I say metals lose electrons, they lose their outermost shell. So this one is going to lose 3 electrons. So when it loses these 3 electrons, it becomes 3 plus. So this is an ion that is going to be formed. 3 plus. Meaning it is going to lose these 3 electrons. I move to this one. D. What charge is D going to have? We are on D. What charge is D going to have? What charge is D going to have? So the charge for D, who can tell me the charge for D? What charge is D going to have? It is what? This one is a metal. We said that this is a metal. So this is a metal. Who can answer? 2 plus. So 2 plus. This is so good. It is what? 2 plus. Why? Because it is a metal and it is going to lose these 2 electrons. It is going to lose these 2 electrons. Then we've got E here. This one. What is the charge for this? Having 5 electrons. 5 electrons. What is the charge here? Having 5 electrons. What is the charge here? Having 5 electrons. 5 electrons. 5 electrons, 5 electrons, 5 electrons. What is the charge here? 5 electrons in its outermost shell. We are on E. So we are now on E. We are now on E. E is what? 3 minus. Have you seen? 3 what? 3 minus. Hope we understand this. If you are not understanding, please you can comment your question. I'll be able to read it. So if you are not understanding where we are getting this 3 plus, this 3 minus, 2 minus, like that. So this is negative 3. We've established an understanding here. We've revised through this. Now the question is saying which element is mostly to be in group 6? From all these, which element will be in group 6? Which element is going to be in group 6? Which element is mostly to be in group 6? Which element will be in group 6? So you tell me element A, B, like that. Which element is mostly going to be in group 6? This is 6 that is here. From all these, which element is mostly going to be in group 6? Which one? Element A. Element A will be in group 6. Element A. So I can say B, A. How do you know that these are metals and non-metals? Okay, so the way we get to know that these are metals and non-metals, those elements with more than 4 electrons in the outermost shell are called non-metals. And those elements with less than 4 electrons in the outermost shell are called non-metals. This is how we get to know them. So this one, have you seen? We know that elements in group 6, I want to explain this. Element in group 6 will gain 2 electrons for them to be stable. Have you seen? So elements that are in group 6 will lose 2 electrons for them to be stable. Since they are losing 2 electrons, they form ions 2 minus. So which element now here is having 2 minus? 2 minus, 2 minus, 2 minus. It is A. This one that is there. So the answer here is what? The answer is A. Hope I've explained this. Elements in group 6 gain 2 electrons. They gain. In group 6, they gain electrons for them to be stable. Since they gain electrons, they are in group 6. So for them to reach 8, they need to gain 2. Since they are gaining, so gaining attracts a negative charge. So it forms 2 minus. So which one is forming 2 minus here is A. A is forming 2 minus. So A is forming what? 2 minus. We've answered that. We move to this other question. Which element will form an ion of the type X2 plus and X2 minus? So which one? So since we've done this, these questions are now simple. So the one that will form X2 plus, we know it. It is which one? The one that will form this one. 2 plus, it is D, which is there. And the one that will form X2 minus, it is what? We've done this. So this is what? Minus, it is A. We already, so it is A and what? A. How did you come up with 3 negative charged? 3 negative charged. So this one, how did I come up with this? Because it is having 5 electrons in the outermost shell. So meaning for this to be stable, for it to reach 8, it needs to gain 3. 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it is full. Meaning that it needs 3 electrons. That's why we said 3 minus. I did understand on question 2. Which element is likely to be in group 6? So group 6, what I mean is that the first thing, before you even answer the question, you need to ask yourself, elements in group 6, they need 2 electrons for them to be stable. Since they need 2, and you know that gaining attracts negative, so 2 minus. So which element here is forming 2 minus? It is A. It is the only one that is forming 2 minus. Which elements will form an ion of the type X2 plus, X2 minus? x2 plus is here. Have you seen 2 plus is there? We've got 2 minus there. So it is only A and D. We are done. We've answered this particular question. This is how we are supposed to answer it. We move to, I've got some good questions that I will revise with you people. I prepared some nice questions that I want us to answer together. We move to this particular question. Which element has atomic number 15? We are now on this now. Which element has atomic number 15 from this? Which element has atomic number 15? So who can answer this? Which element has atomic number 15? Looking at all these, which element has atomic number 15? So atomic number 15 now. Which element now has atomic number 15? Which element is having atomic number 15? Which one will have 15 now? The one with 5 electrons in the outermost shell. 5 electrons in the outermost shell. This one, have you seen? So, this one, if you want to identify this, you already know that this one, since it is having 5 electrons in its outermost shell, so this one is in group 5. Have you seen? It is in group what? It is in group 5. So, since it is in group 5, and you are able to tell that these elements that we've written here, when we write this one is in group 5. So you check, okay, since it is in group 5, this one is in group 5. We get to answer these questions using the periodic table. Just that I don't have a periodic table now. But where you are able to agree with me. You just see on the periodic table and you answer this particular question. You go on the periodic table, you answer according to the elements that are given there, not outside this. So you answer according to the elements that are given here. Have you seen? You check your periodic table, you go to group 5. Which element is having 15? You just go on the periodic table. You check the one atomic number, we mean proton number. So proton number 15, it is what? It is E. You put it just E like that. You are done. So atomic number is the same as proton number. So proton number 15, you check on the periodic table which one is having 15, and it is here. Having 15 and it is here like this. Obviously, it is what? It is E. This is how you get to answer it. You are done with that. Obviously, so I just want us to revise through some of these questions. If they are to come in an exam, we are able to answer them. So these are questions that we need to answer. These are questions that we need to take advantage of. Let us go to question 2. We move to question 2. This is question 2 that is here. Hope everyone is able to see it. This is question 2. This is question 2 that I've just displayed here. So one of the periods, in the periodic, one of the groups in the periodic table contain elements which have 7 valence electrons. Choose one element from this group to answer. Have you seen? This is an interesting question that we just have. This is an interesting question. This is an interesting question. So we are going to get simple ones. So we just get simple ones. So now we are told that, so here now we are tested on a part called valence number and valence electron. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to understand. So we are tested on this part. What is the difference between valence, when you're given the word valence number? So what is the difference between valence number? So valence, normally we put a Y here. But valence electron, we just write like this. Have you seen? Valence electron. So under this topic, what's the difference between cations and anions? Cations forms negatively up. Cations forms positively charged. Anions get to form negatively charged. So this is what we need to understand. So under this topic, when we are talking about cations, cations will form positively charged particles, while anions will form negatively. You know that a cation is a positively charged particle. Then an ion is a negatively charged particle. So here we are tested on valence number and valence electron. So whenever we are talking about valence, they sound the same, but the spellings are different. I think you can even agree with me. This is valence number. Valence number is the number of electrons that an element will lose or gain for it to be stable. This is what we mean when we are talking about valence number, the number of electrons that an element will lose or gain for it to be stable. I go to this one. This is valence electron. Valence electron, I'm just talking about the number of electrons in the outermost shell. Have you seen the number of electrons in the outermost shell? And I always tell you that the number of electrons in the outermost shell will determine the group of that particular element. So in this case, we are told that this one is in group which contain 7 valence electrons. This is to tell you that it is containing 7 electrons in its outermost shell. Since it is containing 7 electrons in the outermost shell, then this one is from group what? Group 7. It is containing 7, so it is from what? It is from group what? Group 7. It is from group 7. Because it is containing what? It is containing 7 valence electrons. Valence electrons. And the number of electrons, valence electrons, these are the electrons that are found in the outermost shell. You know that. So we answer, just choose one element from this group. So name the name of this element. What is the name? I want to see all the answers. You just pick one from group 7. You just pick one. From group 7, just pick one element and write it here. The choice is yours. So just pick one. Let me see answers. Let me see. From group 7. Anyone that know any element from group 7. Any element from group 7, you just pick one. So any element from group 7. Chlorine. With chlorine is from group 7. Well, how about others? We just don't have chlorine. So we've got chlorine. This is the first answer that I've seen. So chlorine is from group 7. We've got fluorine. It is also there. Fluorine. We've got fluorine like that. All those are what? All those are answers. So you just pick one. You just pick what? You just pick one. This is what we mean. So I'll go with the chlorine because your first answer here will be used to answer all the questions that are down here. So let us just assume, let us just pick chlorine. So we all pick chlorine so that our answers here can be the same so that we don't face challenges. So group 7, the name of this element is chlorine. This is not to tell you that you just pick one. No, you can pick any element that is from group 7. And you've seen the questions down here. So even as you pick that element, you know that the chemical formula of the element, you need to know the chemical formula for that element. In this case, we've picked chlorine. So what is the chemical formula of the element chlorine? What is the chemical formula? It is just like this, capital letter C, small l. Have you seen? This is what you are supposed to do. So this is the chemical formula. If you pick fluorine, you write the chemical formula for fluorine here. So you pick, I know some people, certain people have picked those elements that are down there, that are very down there. Have you seen? So this is what you need to do. Just like this, Cl, Cl. Here, the other question C here, have you seen question C here? Question C is saying the formula of the ions which it forms. The formula of the ions which it forms. It forms what? The ion it is going to form, it is this and the minus there. Have you seen? Because it is just going to do what? It is just going to gain one electron. So it is going to have Cl and the negative on top telling you that it is just going to do what? To gain an electron. So an ion, the question is saying an ion. I can see people saying Cl2 like this. No. So this is, when you write like this, you are telling us, we know that all those elements from group 7 get to form diatomic atoms. So diatomic atom. So when you write like this, you are telling me that it is forming a diatomic atom. But the question here, the key word is ion. Whenever we are talking about ion, we just get to talk of the charge. So it is what? The formula of the ion which it forms, it is as Cl. Cl and the negative. If you add to get fluorine, you just get the symbol for fluorine, you put a negative. They are just the same. So this is how we get to do them, and this is how we are supposed to answer them. We go to this one. I guess those of you that are under my online lessons, you are writing down. Even those that are not, but let's make sure that we write down these particular questions. What are diatomic atoms? Diatomic atoms, we know that elements from group 7 are called diatomic atoms because they get to form two atoms. They get to have these two. So the reason why we call them diatomic atoms, because they are going to form two atoms in one. Just one gets to form two atoms. Mostly this behavior comes from group 7, which are called halogens. So halogens get to form what? Diatomic atoms. We go to this one. State the group and the period it belongs. So we've established an understanding. So group, it is group 7. So I'm just going to do this. I'll say group, it is 7. This is what I'm going to do it. So I'll say group 7. It is from group what? Group 7. And period. Who can tell me the period? The period of chlorine. Period is what? Chlorine is from period what? Chlorine is from period what? Hope you are having a periodic table there. Chlorine is from group what? Group 3. Okay, this is so good. So, sir, ions are always negative. So let me see this answer. So, sir, so ions are always negative. No, when I say an ion, I mean a charged particle. So an ion is a charged particle that can either be negative or positive. Like this. So just to take you back to this. Have you seen? These are what? These are ions. This one is positively charged. This one is negatively charged. But these are what? These are ions. So ions are not only negatively charged always. An ion is a charged particle. It can either be negative or positive. So that is what we are supposed to know. So we are answering down this interesting question that is here. These are questions that I want us to answer together. These questions. So these are nice questions. I guess you are enjoying this. Period is what? Period is 3. Period is 3. This is what we... Okay. So, sir, how do you know that this element is a solid, liquid, and gas? You know that metals, when I say a metal is a solid. When we say a liquid, mostly here on the periodic table, we only have metals and non-metals. Have you seen? So you are even able to tell when I give you the name. So these things, when I say oxygen, oh, you know that oxygen is a gas. You can't touch oxygen. Oxygen is a gas. When I say this is sodium, we know sodium. So chemistry, we just deal with things that we know. When I say that this is a metal, you know that, oh, a metal, I can touch a metal. So you are even able to tell that, okay, this one is like this. This one is like this. Have you seen? So you just get to know them. If I say this is a book, you know that, oh, a book is a solid. we go to this one. What type of oxides, what type of oxide the element forms? This one, we are talking about chlorine. So that's why I said that you pick common ones. If you are answering questions, you don't know what is down. So it is better you just pick the common ones that we use in chemistry. Like chlorine is mostly used. So the type of oxide it forms. What type of oxide does it form? Chlorine, the type of oxide it forms. So what you need to know is that nonmetals form acidic oxides when combined with oxygen. This is what you need to know. So nonmetals, if you didn't know, it's good you've known today. Nonmetals, these, okay, I'm seeing comments. Okay, so what you need to know is that nonmetals get to form acidic oxides when we combine them with what? Oxygen. So when nonmetals are combined with oxygen, they get to form acidic oxides. When I say which type of oxide, so we are reacting with oxides. Then oxide, we know that this is oxygen. So the nonmetals, when we combine them with the oxygen, they get to form acidic oxide. So the question is, what type of oxide? It is what? Acidic oxides. Acidic oxides. I've told you that when nonmetals combine with oxygen, they form acidic oxides. This is what you are supposed to know. This is what you need to understand. The answer is acidic oxides. I've told you that when nonmetals combine with oxygen, they form acidic oxides. So they form what? Acidic oxide. Sulfur reacts with oxygen. Sulfur dioxide. That is an acidic oxide. Have you seen? So metals combine with the oxygen to form acidic oxides. And this is where we are going to end from. Thank you so much for connecting. Those of you that wants to join me, those of you that wants to join us, this is a number to contact. You contact me on this number so that I add you to the group. Thank you so much for staying up to this time. I believe you've learned one or two things. So you text me on WhatsApp on this number. If you want tuitions, this is the number that you need to text. I get to use this same number. And for payments, you use this same number. This is my number. So this is the number that I use. This is my number. Thank you so much for connecting. And I believe you are writing down these questions. But if you're under my own lessons, it is a must. You need to be writing down these questions. You need to be writing down everything that we are doing. This is School at 5 under our program that we get to do together. So don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like the video and sharing. Don't forget to do these two. Share and like the video. So this is a number to call those of you under my own, those of you that wants to join us. It's only 100 kwacha chemistry, both science, both chemistry and physics. Mathematics also, it's 100 kwacha. I get to teach on a daily basis, Monday to Friday. Mathematics 20 hours, science 21 hours. This is where we are going to end from. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like and WhatsApp me on this number if you want tuitions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.